When it comes to AI, I realized that there are so much more that AI can do. And only recently I started coding using AI. I tried out with Bolt Neo and it was amazing. Then I graduated into using Cursor AI. I believe that AI is making a lot many things easier for people like me, founders or technologists. I have seen people building videos, getting content out, editing. But yes, I mean, in general, I have used a few of these tools here and there and played around and believe that there is a lot more benefits available from AI. I'll put it that way.
Hello, everyone. A founder is a visionary, someone who transforms ideas into reality, overcomes challenges, and creates meaningful impacts. Through Founder Stories podcast, we bring you inspiring journey of the founders, the challenges, the breakthrough moments, and how they're using AI to innovate and grow. This podcast is brought to you by Akki AI, a multi-agent companion designed for founders and investors. Akki AI delivers specialized solutions that streamline the whole startup journey, making it simpler, faster, and more efficient. Do remember to check it out. Welcome to the very first episode of FounderStoriesPodcast. I'm Satya, your host for today's episode. Our guest for today is a good friend of mine and a founder of Padhy, Rashmi. I've known Rashmi since school days and have been following his journey through social media and informal meetups. Today, we have got a chance to hear from him. So, hello, Rashmi. You have been a great friend of mine, and we have been meeting each other since long. You are a 2x entrepreneur, recognized product leader, and a founder. Can you talk a little bit about yourself and how your journey has been so far?
Hey, Satya, thanks for having me here. It's been an honor and a privilege. I think you know about my journey a lot, but let me start. So I started my journey like any other, like a software engineer working on age-old technologies where many people might not know mainframes and COBOL and those programming languages. I did that for about 7 years. While doing that, I actually was in the US when I started tinkering around, playing around with web technologies and building websites and mobile or like web apps in general. That is when I started working on a few of my ideas. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and a tech entrepreneur is what I wanted to be, but I didn't know what, but I was playing around and figuring it out. Back in 2010, when I was in the US, I decided that I want to quit my job and do entrepreneurship full time. I started off with the idea in loyalty, built a company, iterated a few times, raised funds from VCs, angels, even went to Startup Chile, and ended up raising a little less than $1 million back in 2015, 2016. Worked on it, exited the startup in 2017, and went to work as product leader in a few companies like Gojek, Nestaway, Kareem or Uber, and WazirX, Binance, as you might know. That's when I started my second stint in entrepreneurship. I started building a game called BorntoDie. It's a shooter game. And from there, it's in Web3 and gaming. And I'm still building in the area of Web3 and gaming. That's like my short journey so far in a brief.
Yeah, awesome. I think I've been lucky to be hearing about your wonderful journey. One thing I would like to hear about is the prestigious Startup Chile program. It was a big thing during that time, and that has actually inspired many of us to look up to those startup programs like Y Combinator and all. How has been your journey on this Startup Chile?
I think Startup Chile, if I put it, it has been very impactful in my startup journey. I was a guy who was really, really serious and very, I'm not getting the word here, but very, very serious about, I thought startup is a serious job in general. And I was like like face down working on it all the time. When I went to Startup Chile, I met hundreds of different people from, I think, 40 plus countries over there and saw a different side of startup there. People were enjoying having fun while working hard, right? And that's when I realized that starting up is not only about working, but also enjoying your life. That had a profound impact on me and my next few years, where I knew that, okay, hard work is not negotiable, but you cannot trade off having fun either. And I believe that when you are with a diverse group of people, as Startup Chile is, you learn a lot from each other. You learn from everyone's strengths and their weaknesses and how they overcome those things, right? That's one. And secondly, these are all handpicked top of the top people out there. And being a part of that makes you really, really humble. You are not out of the ordinary, but you see that there are so many others who are better than you, who are competing with you for different things. And the journey or the experience has been really, really great. And it's not just the Startup Chile program. From there, I went to the US. I participated in a few accelerator programs there. And as you go and meet more and more people, more and more entrepreneurs, you get better. You get to learn from your peer experience and you get better every day. I believe that has been one of the most amazing incident in my life in general.
Awesome. I think this is the real crux of the startup journey, like being able to enjoy yourself and being a part of the community, contributing it and learning yourself. Now, if anyone wants to be a part of this program or accelerator program or any like the prestigious Startup Chile program, what kind of suggestions do you have? Where do we start?
I don't even know if Startup Chile is still having the programs going. My bad. I think it was back in 2014 that I did. It's almost 10 years. But there are many other accelerator programs YC is having there. There are a few accelerators in the US, a few accelerators in India as well. I believe that each of the programs are different, but they are all looking for the same thing. Can you become the next a big startup in general, right? And that is where there are different stages of accelerators, but I would say applying to those, getting selected by those is a very important step. And you will learn from your experiences. You might select it the first time, you might get selected the third time, fourth time, doesn't matter. But as long as you are working on your idea and are committed to it, I believe these are one of the best experiences to do that.
Amazing. Yeah, I think this is one of the best ways to actually learn and grow. A startup is sometimes can be like overwhelming, but being a part of this program or being a part of the community can always enhance you. You have rightfully said that. I also wanted to talk about little bit about gaming. I'm a big fan of games. I remember playing PUBGs and I remember playing Mario. Even I remember your Born to Die period. Like I remember the shooter game. It was awesome, and I was completely hooked up to that game. And even like it was very difficult for me to pull myself back. Can you share like what was your experience of building the shooter game, and what was it like bringing Born to Die to life? Something
Okay.
that our audience would like to hear.
Right. So here is a story, right? So I have always been a gamer. I mean, I have played games since my school days on consoles with those cassettes out there, Duck Hunt and Mario and few others. I started playing games then. I have been playing games of like Counter Strike or Age of Empires on internet with those floppy disks and CDs getting downloaded. I remember I went to my first job in Infosys, and we used to play Age of Empires in LAN, which was totally prohibited in Infosys, but we kind of hacked it out and our friends were playing out together. So I have always been playing games, and after that, mobile games and so on, right? Now, so if you see 20, 30 years, I've been playing games. So gaming is something very personal to me. So back in 2021, when I was considering what to do as a startup in general, I came across Web3 and gaming. I am still in Web3 and gaming, and I believe that is a big one. A friend of mine, he was developing this game out back then, BorntoDie, and I partnered with him and started building it out. What I did not realize though was building a game is very, very difficult. While the basics of the games are very easy, getting a game built and out to public is really difficult. It's like a very big gap between having the basics going and being playable to taking it out to public where people can do a bunch of stuff along with gaming. And that's what I think I was not ready for. So it was a great experience to build the game out, but it was a lot more to understand what are the gaps, what are the issues with gaming in general. And that's what shaped my current startup while building the game Born to Die. I still believe that Born to Die as a game is great. Shooter games are always there, always in fashion. There's a big segment of users who like to play shooter games. And I believe that Born to Die eventually will become something out in the public and people will like doing that, playing that game.
Yeah, definitely. Like shooter games are all-time favorites. Like they're very, very exciting and like adrenaline rush is always there. Now, this brings to a point like, what do you think about this Web3 and gaming space? What are the thoughts about it? You have been
Well,
there, a veteran in this space for long.
I know. So I'll tell you this, right? So there are two thought processes that goes while you're trying to build a startup in general, and or at least the mental models I follow. Thought one is that you don't build a startup on what is already happening, but you build a startup envisioning a future that it will become, right? And that is where I believe that gaming and Web3 are the future models which is going to work. And there's a lot I have written about it on LinkedIn in a series of articles called the future of gaming. And I'm starting a podcast on the same. But I believe very, very strongly that Web3 and gaming are going to be the future of gaming in general. Where we are right now is probably we haven't figured out the model that is going to work at large. Even if there are a few models are working, it hasn't taken the entire gaming ecosystem's imagination or captured the imagination yet. So we are probably a few months, couple of years out from getting there. I am still 100% confident that the future of gaming economy is going to be Web3. And once that is cracked, there is no turning back.
Yeah, awesome. This brings me to one of the interesting anecdotes that I have. A few months back, I traveled to my native and I met my cousin who was hooked to the game. And I used to ask him, "Hey, what is your future? Like, why are you playing?" Then he says, "Do you know about this term called play to earn? Like, that something is going to change. So I'm going to be a millionaire by playing games." And that rattled me a lot. And next time I heard about play to earn is from you. Can you share something about it? What's this? What's this term? Can we become millionaire by playing?
No, you cannot. That was a fad in 2021, 2022. I don't believe in that. Playing is not going to replace work. However, there is a caveat to that. There are multiple ways we can look at the play to earn economy. So play to earn was something which was the first model of Web3 gaming, where you play, you get tokens, and those tokens have some value when you start making money from there, right? But it in 2022 it crashed, and since then it earned a very big. The crash actually got a very big bad name for the Web3 gaming at large, and everyone equates Web3 gaming to play to earn, right? Or to a certain extent, NFTs. Now, there are a few things that we have to look for. Play to earn in general is going to be there, but it's not going to make people millionaires. There are other areas in which, this is a very big topic, and I can go on it for hours. But I believe in that there would be few people who will be earning rewards. So let's take the journey of gaming, right? Earlier, people used to play games only for fun. People to go to cafes, gaming cafes or consoles to play, have fun, right? Then we came into a competitive era of gaming where we got esports and people play in competitions to win rewards, right? Now, there will be some aspects of play to earn which will be there in gaming in Web3, but it will not be something that you can make millions of dollars just by playing games and doing that all the time. There will be other aspects to it which has to be built on. I cannot say which exactly that is going to be, but I believe that there will be some areas of play to earn, some areas on play and earn, and some areas of playing just for fun. All of those three will combine to give Web3 gaming or gaming in general the next generation experience.
Yeah, we are all excited to see how Web3 gaming future is going to be, and wish really well that this future is something good for us. Let's talk about a latest startup, the latest one, Adi, the beginning. I am completely intrigued by his name. It is something like Adi Yogi and its name. So tell me, like, what inspired you to start Adi?
Okay, funny story. Like you mentioned, Adi Yogi. The name Adi actually came from that. The I had first heard of while I was ideating, I had come across building something in the space of Web3 back then, and Adi was the beginning in general. What Adi is, the meaning is the beginning, the first, and I wanted to build Adi since then. I think that was 2017, 2018. So Adi, as it stands today, is Web3 as a service platform. The goal is very simple. Today, if you go and talk to developers, talk to people in general, but more focus is developers. If you go and talk to developers who are developing apps or games in general and ask them about Web3 or blockchain, they are scared. They don't know the technology. The technology is changing very, very fast. There are new terminologies coming over there. And as it is building app or a game is difficult, by throwing in unknown technology, it makes it even more difficult, right? So what Adi does is, at its best, is it simplifies and makes developer integrate Web3 elements really, really easy. It provides the basic set of APIs, RESTful APIs, which is like the building blocks every developer know how to work with REST APIs. We provide these APIs that they integrate into their consumer apps, into their apps or games, and integrate Web3 in a flash. They don't need to know what blockchain is. They don't need to understand how blockchain works. They don't even need to have all the aspects of blockchain to build it out. So the technology is completely abstracted out. If I may put it this way, we had uh, 10, 20 years back as well, right? People used to build AI models, training, and all those things. But after ChatGPT, we knew that we can integrate AI into our products using APIs. It became that easy. Adi intends to do the same thing to Web3. Why is that important? Is because currently we are still in the infra era of Web3, where people are all building infra, but the consumer apps, like the games and other consumer apps, adoption will be hastened or fastened by using a technology like, or bridges or middlewares like Adi. At its core, that is what Adi does. And then this is the platform we are laying, and will be building multiple different verticals on the top of that. And that's what we'll be building in the future.
Nice, nice. I think the platformization of any framework is actually the future, wherein you are able to grow faster, easier, and better. I think that's an area. Now, where do you think like Adi is going to play a vital role in future? Specifically, I understand the platform, but what is your vision for Adi, and how do you think is going to create an impact in the gaming and the tech space?
See, I would say the vision of Adi will keep evolving as we go along. Currently, my vision is to get 100,000 developers to build on the top of Adi as the goal, right? So we start with 1,000 developers, to 10,000 and 100,000 developers to build on the top of Adi. That means having 100,000 apps built on Adi. But then I believe that that would only be a stepping stone for the next thing that we can build on Adi. There are a few levels that we can build on the top of that. I have thought through a few of them, and a few of them are not very thought through yet or very, very crystal clear. But I believe as I keep building on and keep working, those next stages or next phases of the build will keep on getting more and more refined and more defined as we go along.
Yeah, got it. I think that really would make sense. So having a very long-term vision is sometimes can be a little bit difficult to maintain because the technology and its technical space is changing. Having a short-term vision and completely pivoting and iterating is the word that we can always think of. That so that we can keep ourselves aligned to the goal that we are looking at.
I would say a mix of both works, right? You have
Right.
to have a long-term vision in place, so you're going in that direction. That is not sharp. But at the same time, you know what you are gaining, you are making in the short term itself. Like today, every day counts, and building for now, serving the people's needs, pain points, aspirations today is also important, as well as going towards the future in general.
Right, right. Absolutely makes sense. I guess I also heard some time back, like during our conversation, like you have been like utilizing AI tools through your journey. Like, would like to hear more, like how AI has been helping you and what tools have you tried during your journey, like in your personal life or your professional life? Just some thoughts on that area.
So when it comes to AI, right? So I believe that I'm a novice when it comes to the field of AI. I'm trying out. I have obviously tried out tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or Anthropic. And there are a few other tools like Midjourney, Grok, Gemini, a bit of Gemini. And I've also tried out Perplexity. I am a heavy user of tools like the integration of, I think, ChatGPT with Notion. I am a heavy user of that. Uh, there are a few areas which has been very, very important for me or very, very easy for me. That is building documents or writing content out for about social media, be it LinkedIn post, be it Twitter, and those things, right? But I also realized that there are so much more that AI can do. And only recently I started coding using AI. I tried out with Bolt Neo and it was amazing. Then I graduated into using Cursor AI. And I believe that AI is making a lot many things easier for people like me, founders, maybe, or technologists. And I have seen like people building videos, getting content out, editing. I have heard like a lot, and I want to see if I can try some of them. But yes, I mean, in general, I have used a few of these tools here and there and played around and believe that there is a lot more that I can do, but I don't know. I think I'm not be able to capitalize on all the benefits available from AI. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think AI spaces is evolving. The new tools, Gen AI tools, these spaces are getting involved. Now, this brings me to a question, a little bit about your experience with the coding tools. Now, consider an example like you have been a developer, you have already begun and you know about the coding, and you started using it. Now, how was your experience? Do you think that this any non-tech guy comes in and starts using it, would they be able to use the current AI tool, like so suppose the coding helper, and go about it? Just curious. I just wanted to let our audience know about the new facet that is available.
Okay, so I have been developing, and I have also a lot of friends who are techies, who are developers, and who make fun of me. Like, okay, if you use AI tools, this is what you're going to end up with, right? See, AI is not there yet. So I see AI like any other tool. It will help you in making things easier, faster, better, but it is not going to solve your problem 100%, right? Even if you have a hammer, you cannot go and build a house just with a hammer. You need a set of tools to forget about a house, even for that matter, even a chair or a table, you cannot build only with a hammer. You need a set of tools to do that. Now, AI is like the steel, and there are different tools which can help you make your product out. But that doesn't mean that it completely replaces the humans today. So when you're developing using Cursor or others, it does make the life easier. But as you get into advanced stage of development, or if you're building a complex app, then it goes in circles. And as a developer, if you have a development background, then you can know that it is going in the wrong direction and you can course correct, or you can stop. But if you don't know that, and you think that whatever AI is giving is the thing, you just copy paste and it'll going to work. I hate to break you the news, it's not going to do it that way. It's absolutely going to make your life miserable. I started with that, and in the initial few, I think a couple of days, so it actually took 3 days to build an app, which was pretty fast for whatever. But then by the third day, it started going into loops, errors, and you'll get into errors. Fixing errors becomes very, very difficult if you don't know what it actually does, the code, and you don't understand the code in general. I think AI is a tool. It can guide you, help you get better, but it cannot replace experienced programmer yet. You need some programming knowledge to do it. But that said, I believe that we are getting into a place where there will be AI tools which will come and do unit tasks well. When I say unit tasks, what that means is, let's say you can have a AI tool which will generate a website for you and make it agentic in a way that will actually go and deploy the website with the URL for your brand within, let's say, 2 hours. That is doable. But if you want to build a complicated SaaS application or a complicated application like an Instagram and others, there are so many different things that has to be taken into consideration. Database architecting is one of the areas, right? If you don't have a right architecture for database, it's not going to work. Same way, the code structuring is an area. If you cannot make it maintainable, then you will get lost trying to figure out where it is, right? If you don't know the right prompt and you're building two big files, then the AI tokens will eat up your space very quickly and you will not get out faster. So there's so many different areas in coding that you have to understand. And I believe that while it helps, it is not going to replace completely yet.
Yeah, that is true. Like it is a facilitator. It's a tool that can help you, but it is not a complete like a system in itself. So that's true. So I just heard a word. I was just curious. Agentic. Now everybody's talking about this multi-agents AI, agentic AI. Gone are the days of Gen AI. Everybody's talking the difference between Gen AI and agentic. Have you used any of them? And
I haven't.
what are your thoughts?
I haven't used any agentic uh, models yet. I'm curious to do that. I was evaluating one which will go and post tweets on my behalf or comments on Twitter on my X on my behalf, but I ran into issues while trying to implement it. I think I should take a second stab at it right now. But I believe that the future is agentic and multi-agent, primarily because of two things. Agentic will make life easier for people. Now, like I said, the website deployment, unit work, right? The unit work is where AIs will be really, really making life easier for people. And those unit works are agents or agentic works, right? I believe that that is going to come, and these will be multiple agents which will be coming and making life easier for humans in general. Are there startups which I believe there are a lot of startups which are doing agentic and automations. I haven't explored all of them yet, and I intend to do that in the next few days.
Right. One of some time back when I was talking to a fellow like startup founder who was exploring the AI space, and we were talking about agentic, multi-agents. They started becoming like pretty overwhelming. They said like agentic or multi-agents can be a cognitive overload. I'm just curious, like people like are very getting little bit confused. Like, what is the best way? Is it agentic AI or a multi-agentic AI? What do you think is the best way to go forward? I'm just curious because there's so many things that are there out there.
And you're asking the absolutely wrong guy about it. I am the worst when it comes to definitions and remembering which definition is for what. That is the only reason why I scored low marks in some of the subjects in schools, because definitions are my bane. It's like the curse that I have to take. Like, I can't remember a definition or use it if my life depended on it. I always screw it up. I have got a vague model. AI is AI. Agents are the components which are doing it. There are multi-agents. And I think agentic is what we remember is actually doing some work in the physical world of some sorts. But that's all I know. I could be wrong. But again, like I said, definitions are not my forte.
Yeah, so we will not go to the definition space. But going
Yes.
by your likeness and about you as a founder, what do you like about the AI tools and what you don't like?
Okay. Like and don't like. Okay, I'll tell you what I like about the tools. I think I have always felt that I think AI is giving a set of powers that makes entrepreneurs a lot more better. I have started realizing it. Like, for example, I told about coding, right? Now, I had not been coding for the last 15 years. I have been a product leader, but not a programmer. Although I have a programming background, I have programmed for like 7 years. I was not programming and was having others to program it for me. But I still believe that building stuff is my love. And the moment I come across Bolt and Cursor, I am loving to program and I'm eager to build more and more products out here. So that's making it, that I'm liking. So, okay, this is making life easier for me. And some of the reasons I was not programming was because I had to remember so many different languages and syntaxes and this structure and that structure. It was not the best thing to do. But now it is essentially giving me a code in a fraction and I can just correct it and make it work in like minutes.
Right.
That's a very powerful thing, by the way. The same thing that is happening in programming is also happening in content creation. I have created a few content by just feeding in a few vague ideas or vaguely formed ideas, and it could write it crisply for me. I tried to push AI to think outside of the box and started thinking out of the box and giving me some ideas. I haven't explored that area yet fully, but I intend to do that. I believe it is giving more power, more thinking potential if you can control and drive it properly. I love that about that. And I
Right.
think what I dislike is not the AI itself, but the tools are very similar to each other. And I believe that we need to go beyond some of these tools. I think that there's so much potential in AI and we haven't even touched scratched the surface yet. And I
Yeah.
intend to find, say, let's think of, let's say I'm trying to launch a product, right?
Right.
Launching a product is not that easy, not just building a product. There are like 20 different aspects of doing it. How can we bring all those aspects and make the life simpler for a founder like me, let's say? Is that possible? Is it not possible? I don't know. And I believe there is a lot more that AI can do, and I haven't seen or explored those parts yet. And I think that's where we have to get there to see how can
Correct.
AI get better and help me get better at times. The tools focused on solving problems, not vague ones, but specific problems, and automate end to end. Let's say if I think, hey, I want to send cold emails to or cold connections to get gaming founders or entrepreneurs to check out Adi. Now, if I feed that, can it essentially give me a complete playbook and actually do that for me? We are not there yet. I have to do a lot more setup. Obviously, I'm complaining. I don't want to, because before AI, I have to do like, it would take me 20 days to get that set up. I'm probably a little bit impatient when I see that AI has the potential to get it done for me in 30 minutes. But now it is not getting that in 30 minutes, where it is taking me still 3 to 5 days to do any of those things getting started. I probably am getting a bit impatient, but I think it's possible to get things out at the speed of thoughts.
Yeah, right. I think absolutely you're making sense. Like AI is still evolving, and that's the pain points or the problems that you are talking about are something that all these AI tools are going to solve in the future. Now,
Yeah.
these are the something which is this is a scope of AI. What is something that you don't like about this AI?
See, I honestly I don't have an answer there. Not like I don't want to, but I haven't explored it enough to know what I don't like about it, right? Yes, you can say that it doesn't give me a right answer at times, but that I understand there's a limitations out there and you have to play around with that. Obviously, there are certain areas where you can't go and push the AI forward, and it kind of gives blockers. I think those will eventually come along, and you'll start broadening the scope out. I don't, and it is fairly technical, still fairly technical, by the way. If you are non-tech and trying to use AI, you don't know what the correct prompts are, you will not get an answer correctly. But those are the building blocks. I will not say I don't like it or I dislike about it. I will say that these are beginning days, and I'll see a lot more that can be happening over AI. Right?
Yeah, I think we are still scratching the surface. There are a lot of concerns that is also raised being for the AI. Like I think when we have the tools that are coming up, there are thoughts about the ethical concerns or the responsible AI. Have you heard about those terms? And if yes, like what are your thoughts about it? It is
Have
a
I
wonderful tool.
have I heard of them? Absolutely, I've heard of them. Am I concerned about it? Absolutely not. I think it is like any new technologies. There are always skepticism around that. There are always people who are skeptical, dissuading any adoption of new technologies. And I see it in that light. Obviously, those concerning people are also important, because that is what will keep the things in balance. Checks and balances are required. And I think those kind of voices are keeping the AI startups or products in balance. But so I see from the other side, I'm like on the entrepreneur who want to see the boundaries, like till what limit that we can push AI to get things simpler, better, and faster for humans. And I believe that there's a lot more to do on that front.
Yeah, nice, amazing. Wanted to hear one perspective from you. Just curious, like you have been a founder with Adi, and now hope like consider a space where you have enough tools that are there available with AI. What are your thoughts that how would you use those tools to advance Adi and reach to your vision that you are trying to reach?
See, ideally, I would say that, like I said, right? So I want AI to be able to do a lot more at the speed of thoughts itself. I have got so
Right.
many ideas on my end that I want to implement and execute those ideas faster. It is not about the idea itself, but execution that matters, right? And I think AI today is at the stage where it is idea only and very less execution that actually
Right.
goes out, right? Those execution bits are still missing. I believe that once we have these ideas and executions coming together, which is an agentic or multi-agentic, like we call it, I think that's where the real power will come through. I'm trying to explore a few of them currently, but I am not there yet, so I cannot comment on it yet. Maybe in a few months' time, I would have figured out a few agentic models and platforms which are doing that, and I can give a better answer then, I guess.
Yeah, we are really more enthusiastic to see what comes from your side. Rashmi, like we are just reaching toward the end of this podcast session. Before we summarize, I just wanted to hear your thoughts. What advice do you have to our budding startup founders who are embarking on this journey?
Right. So this is something that I learned, I read about somewhere, and I believe in it very, very strongly. As humans, as entrepreneurs, as founders, as students, no matter who we are, we often overestimate ourselves in the short term and underestimate what we can achieve in the long term. If we keep this mental model in mind, I think, and have a long-term thinking in place, and there is no mountain that we cannot climb. There is no hurdles that we cannot cross, and there is no opportunity that we cannot take up. Long-term thinking is very important while doing
Right.
short-term goals.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing statement. So, Rashmi, I want to reach out to you for any directions or any mentorship. Where do I reach out? I think your journey has been inspiring.
Thank you very much. I'm open. I'm available on LinkedIn, Rashmi Padhy. I'm available on X or Twitter at Rashmi Ranjan. These are the best ways to reach out to me, and happy to talk to anyone and bounce off the ideas if they want to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rashmi. This has been really a phenomenal discussion. For our audiences, that was Rashmi Ranjan, the amazing founder of AADI. And if you want to reach out to him, you can find out the LinkedIn details and all the details in the comment section below. And if you want to also reach out and try out AADI, the website will be here, and you'll be able to reach out and use it. Do share your comments, thoughts, and feedback about this podcast session. And hoping to meet you again in the next session and hear some wonderful stories. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Satya. It was a pleasure having me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning on to the Founder Stories. We hope today's session with our incredible guest was interesting and inspiring. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Stay tuned as we continue to bring the stories of more extraordinary founders, explore their groundbreaking strategies, and showcase the latest AI tools and innovations that are shaping the future. Until next time, keep dreaming big and turning challenges into opportunities. See you in the next episode. Bye.